Boker Tov Yeladim, I have a story I want to read to you. It's about Baxter, the pig who wanted to be kosher. One fine day, when Baxter was waiting for his bus, an old man sat down beside him and said, "Oh, I wish it were sundown right now." "Why is that?" asked Baxter the pig. He was a curious pig. "Because it's sundown," said the old man. "The candles gleam and glow, and they dance while our sweetest voices are lifted into song." "They do?" asked Baxter. He had never seen candles dance. "Certainly," said the old man. "Tonight is the beginning of Shabbat, the day of rest. And so we make a special dinner. We light the candles, we sing our thanks, and raise a glass, surrounded by those we love." "Wow," said Baxter. "That does sound like fun. That sounds terrific." "It is terrific," said the old man. As his bus pulled up, he waved, and then he was gone. All week long, Baxter thought about the old man's words. The candles gleam and glow and dance while our sweetest voices lift in song. And so the following Friday, Baxter hurried back to the bus stop. But the old man was nowhere to be seen. Instead, Baxter found a younger man wearing an apron, a long white apron. After a while, Baxter cleared his throat. "I was wondering, sir, do you know anything about Shabbat dinner?" "Well, I should hope so," said the man. "Oh, good," said Baxter. "Will you tell me how I can be part of it?" The man in the apron stared. "You? A pig? Part of Shabbat? That's impossible." "Why?" asked Baxter. "You're not kosher," said the man in the apron. "Kosher?" asked Baxter. "What's kosher?" But just then, the bus arrived. That night, Baxter happened to be at the grocery store when he noticed a jar on the very top shelf. "Kosher?" read the pig. "Kosher? It's a bottle of pickles. They're kosher." Why, Baxter loved pickles. That week, Baxter ate pickles. Pickles and pickles and pickles. Pickle sandwiches, pickle soup, pickles for breakfast, and pickles in bed. On Friday, he arrived at the bus stop, smelling like vinegar and lugging his jar. But this time, there was a woman in a large hat sitting on the bench. And when Baxter sat down beside her, she wrinkled her nose and scooched away from him. I can't imagine why. "What's with the pickle juice?" she asked. "I found kosher," Baxter said proudly. "Well, mazel tov," said the woman in the large hat. "So what?" "So," he said, "do you think I'm kosher yet?" The woman in the large hat just laughed. "Pickles can dress up a sandwich or brighten a day. They're good, but they aren't that good." Sadly, Baxter set his jar down. The next day, Baxter returned to the grocery store. "Excuse me, sir," he said to the store manager, "do you have anything else kosher?" The pickles were delicious, but I'm afraid they didn't quite do the trick. The manager pointed Baxter toward an enormous pile of fresh challahs. Baxter had never tasted raisin challah before. He said. 5 loaves later, and sick to his little round stomach, he moaned, I must be kosher now, maybe even a little too kosher. Later that day, Baxter arrived at the bus stop and found the old man again. Shalom, said the old man. Hello, said Baxter. I'm glad you're here. I've learned so much all about pickles and challah. What do you think? Am I kosher yet? The old man looked puzzled. You want to be kosher? Baxter nodded. Well, now I've heard it all, he said. But a pig is a pig is a pig. It's too bad you aren't a cow, because cows are kosher. All week long, Baxter worked on his mooing. He acquired a handy set of horns, he cultivated a taste for clover, and by Friday, he felt certainly he was nearly bovine. But this time, when he got to the bus stop, nobody was there. He waited and waited, but nobody came. He mooed once more, just for good measure, and finally, dejected, he took off his horns and he let out a deep, oh. But just then, he felt a tap on his shoulder. Looking up, Baxter found a woman with a big book standing above him. The woman said, Hello, I'm Rabbi Rosen. Can I help you? Oh, I only wish you could, blurted Baxter, but I fear it's hopeless. A pig is a pig is a pig. I'll never be kosher. The rabbi gasped. Why on earth would you want to be kosher? I want to be kosher, explained Baxter, so that I can be part of Shabbat dinner. I gorged myself on pickles. I stuffed myself with challah. I mooed and grazed and wore these silly little horns for days, but nothing's working. But said the rabbi, why would you want to get eaten? Eaten? Me? Baxter looked up sharply. Who said anything about getting eaten? I want to see the candles gleam and glow and dance. I long to lift my sweetest voice in song. Isn't that what Shabbat dinner's all about? The rabbi burst into laughter. Yes, those are important, it's true, but my little pink friend, there has been a terrible misunderstanding. Although you're not kosher to eat, and never will be, everyone is welcome at Shabbat dinner. And then the rabbi opened her book and rifled through it. See, she said, look right here. It's a mitzvah to welcome a stranger, and you, my friend, are certainly strange. So I'd be most grateful if you joined me for Shabbat dinner tonight. Baxter beamed. Oh, thank you so much, he said. And at last, Baxter the pig watched the candles gleam and glow and dance. And so he raised his sweetest voice in song, and he had a wonderful time. Though it must be admitted, he made rather a mess of his cocoa. Shabbat Shalom.